Hey, it's Amy Brown from The Bobby Bone Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining me on today's episode of 20-somethings. I'm Tico,
And I'm Hugo.
and we're just a couple of 20-somethings who have done things that would most definitely make our grandmothers clutch their pearls. Right, Hugh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Today,
Well, my
no,
grandmother is shaking her head in disappointment. Probably, but she had that up above.
rest in peace.
But she did.
Rest
But
in
yeah,
peace. But yeah, today we will be talking about capital SEX, the thing that's on everyone's mind, but somehow still comes with a weird mix of shame, confusion, and the occasional, wait, does this count moment? And the reason I feel like this was an important topic for us to discuss is because somebody has to do it. Because, in all honesty, they didn't teach us shit about sex in high school beyond don't do it or you'll get chlamydia and die, or don't be gay,
yeah.
don't eat pussy, and don't you dare put it or take it up the butt, right?
You know, the funny thing is that's the norm nowadays.
I hate it. I
Oh,
hate that.
wow.
Like, I hate that. And we'll also be getting into hookup culture, turn-ons, turn-offs, body count, consent, and that awkward space.
Oops.
I know, right? And the awkward space where trauma and sex intersect. Because let's be real, a lot of us have used sex as a form of self-harm. So we'll touch on some touchy subjects. For example, how easily lines can get blurred when substances are involved. Because honestly, a lot of my
Oh,
hookups weren't
wow.
exactly sober situations. Not rape, but that rare gray area where you're consenting, but you're also not totally of sound mind. And let's not forget transactions, whether it's an explicit tit for tat situation or just feeling obligated to open your legs because someone was nice to you. We've all been there. Is it just
I
me?
don't think I've been there.
Ooh,
I
sorry,
think it's just you, honey. Remember, I'm innocent out here.
drag me. But of course,
For
this is a
real.
sexy topic, so we're going to engage in some friendly debate as well. For example, does foreplay count as sex? Because, spoiler alert, if it
Um,
requires effort, it counts, I think. What do you think?
Foreplay, I don't think it counts as sex. Well, not for me, because all right, so what I realized in the recent times is stuff is really subjective to the person, right? Just
Mhm.
like if you're in a relationship and you cheat, let's say you have foreplay with somebody, you finger them or whatever the case may be,
Right.
that isn't, well, for me, that wouldn't be considered as sex. It would be considered a form of cheating, but not sex itself.
Oh.
Because for me, if it's sex, then that means something has to go into something.
Oh,
For me personally.
you know what? Before we continue, just a disclaimer, neither Hugo or I are sexperts. We're not sex therapists, and we're definitely not OnlyFans models, at least not yet. We're just two messy bitches
I'm not.
who live for drama. But yeah, so
But back to it.
yeah, like for all of our listeners, just take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and for the love of God, please don't use baby oil as lube. Friction is nobody's friend.
Ooh.
Yep. So while we're
Um,
gonna joke a lot, there also will be serious things that we're gonna talk about, like consent, safe sex, and personal agency. Some of what we discuss may be uncomfortable, so listener discretion is advised. So, Hugo, first thing I want us to talk about
y-
is safe sex. I want to talk about why condoms, PrEP, and regular STI testings are a must because if we're gonna be out here doing what we're doing, we might as well be doing it responsibly, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I do.
Right. But wait a
Well,
minute.
for you're on
What
prep,
if
right?
I was actually, but I kind of stopped because I wasn't actively sexual. Like I wasn't sexually active, but I actually am about to
Okay.
uh follow-up appointment soon so I can like do some blood work and get back on it because I plan on traveling soon and things happen.
Ooh, you plan to get slotted out in the foreign countries. I
Don't put
see.
words in my
Again,
mouth. Girl, what do you know about
listen to
me?
me. I'm not the one that's gonna put anything in your mouth.
Clap back to you, sis. Clap back to you. But what
I
can I say? I
know.
never kiss and tell.
Mhm.
I never kiss and tell. But why do you ask? Are you on prep?
Ooh, all right.
Are you on prep?
Yeah, I've been on prep for like 2, 3 years now, I
Well,
believe.
hello. Let's celebrate that. So, for the uninformed, PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, and it's basically an
Hmm.
HIV prevention medication. It doesn't prevent other STIs and STDs, but it's a great thing for people who are at risk of catching HIV, such as, the.
Well, hold on, wait a minute.
Mhm.
Is it a stereotype that only careless people go on prep? Because I don't know why
No,
people keep saying
that is
that.
that is a misconception, and I'm glad you asked. That's a very good question. No, it's not only people who are quote unquote careless take PrEP. Of course, you could be, for example, what if you yourself are HIV negative, but your partner is HIV positive, and you're in a monogamous relationship? That is,
That's
a
a
good,
good one. That's a good
yeah,
example.
exactly. That's a good way for you to maintain, your sexual health.
But I don't know. I
Or
think people also abuse like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's true. That's a very
I,
valid point because people think that, okay,
no, but I
I'm on
think
prep, that means that I can raw dog anybody. Um,
yes, that's what I was gonna say. I don't. People are weird. I don't know.
I know, but I mean, it's reckless and it is irresponsible for, not to take sexual health seriously. But I guess hookup culture does kind of encourage certain activity, but we listen and we don't judge, right? But yeah, essentially,
Yeah.
essentially, PrEP is meant to prevent HIV. It doesn't prevent other STIs and STDs, syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, etc. But I feel like just because you're using PrEP doesn't mean that you have to have bareback sex, for example. You can also still use condoms because condoms are 99.9% effective. I mean, yes, they break, but that's very rare, like unless you're, using baby oil as lube or cooking oil. Like, have you ever used
People use
any
cooking. What?
Listen, girl, let's get into it. Like, honestly, when I was a baby gay, sex education was so ghetto, virtually non-existent. Like, nobody told me that you shouldn't use baby oil as lube or that douching with a glass bottle was a terrible idea. But I did both.
A what?
Girl,
A glass bottle?
I didn't have access. I didn't have access to like an enema or anything like that.
Girl,
I
you
had to
were
use
traumatized. You were traumatized. Don't
I had
worry.
I had to use
I need to give you a hug. I'm sorry.
Girl, I had to use what was available to me. So if I had to empty out a bottle of Smirnoff Ice or,
But
like
wait,
a
no, no,
mark,
no, no. Why glass bottle though? Why not a plastic bottle?
because when you look at the stem of the bottle, like look at like a regular water bottle, like it's not long, it's like short, giggity. So it's like you can't really put it up your butt to do what it needs to do. At least I haven't tried it because I figured that would be challenging. I wouldn't do what it needs to
So
do.
wait, do you currently have a douche bulb?
I do, I do.
Do you currently have a
Um,
douche bulb? Oh,
I do,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, no, I have my coin and I've had to like step my pussy up, so of course I can afford to get the things. But when I was young and do like having intercourse for the first time, granted I was like 18, so it's like I was still relatively naive to certain things. Nobody told me
I
about,
was 16.
okay, still the age of consent. I hope it was
You
consensual.
scared?
So
Yeah, I lost my virgin. Of course I did. That's what I literally just said. I lost mine at 16.
Of course. Do you want to talk about
It
it?
was painful though because
Mm.
sure. So like I was just there and the guy had me on a backers.
Oh my God.
That's the right terminology, right?
Right.
Right?
Doggy,
Yeah,
doggy
yeah,
style.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And he was like doing his little thing, but like it's my first time and I think he was using spit, right? I
Oh,
don't
that's
remember.
another thing.
It
Spit
was
as
years
lube.
ago.
I hate that. I hate it. Because it doesn't last long.
It's
You know what
ghetto,
I
but
mean?
it doesn't, but it makes a good quickie. I'm not gonna lie. But that's
Mm.
just my personal anyway, so yeah. He's just there going to town, and I'm like,
Mm.
mind you, like no, sidetrack. Some of you guys really need to take care of your fucking self because why did bro come to my house? Mo like he didn't brush his teeth, wash his face. He
Oh
just
my
woke up,
God.
head on out for some ass, and I was like. Oh wow. But at
Careless.
the time he was
Absolutely
my well,
careless.
he wasn't my boyfriend. He was like we were dating. So we just do the do, whatever the case may be. And then like I heard my gate open. So I was like looking to the window and it's my mom. And she's like coming straight into my room. So I was panicking. I took my clothes up and ran into the bathroom, left the guy in my room. So
Mm-hmm.
she come to my room. She came in my room and
Mm-hmm.
saw the guy. I didn't say anything.
Right.
I did not even know what was happening out there. I just like flushed the toilet, pretend I was doing something, and then like went out to her. And she
You
was
guys
like,
are having
"Who is
Bible
that?"
study. If
And
you
I was
ask.
like, "Right? No, 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 no." I was like, "That's my friend," and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay." And then she
Wow.
went away, and then I went to the guy and I was like, "That was wild." And he said that. He literally had to put his foot over the condom before she actually came in and saw because it was literally on the ground just doing nothing. I was butt naked and his shorts were like down to his ankles. So
Oh
the
my
only thing he
God.
had to do was pull up, and the only thing I had to do was run away.
Oh my God. Well, that must have been mortifying and humiliating, but I'm glad that your mom was like supportive and didn't like cause a scene, because
Supportive of what? She didn't pick up a thing.
wow, okay.
She did not pick up.
That's very lucky. Wait, so the air didn't smell like
Seriously,
sex?
we live in Jamaica. Bitch, we live in. No, I don't think so. We live in Jamaica. Do you think
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be supportive?
True, touche,
I'd
touche.
probably be dead. I'd
God
probably
forbid.
be dead by
God,
now,
God
right?
forbid. But like
But
my experience was kind of different because I actually was in like a committed monogamous relationship with my ex at the time. First anything. But I am a romantic at heart. So I was, the type to like light candles and get chocolate and like a bottle of wine and all of that. And I wanted to really set the scene.
mm,
And this was like like I was home alone. So I was like, pull up, you got the addy. And so he did. And it was very romantic and everything. We were listening to Speechless by Beyonce, which is very fitting that that's the song that I lost my virginity to. Hilarious. But then, as you mentioned, as soon as it like the tip went in, it's just like this searing pain, which nobody like prepares you for. Nobody tells you that it's going to hurt like hell, like a burning sensation. It's just like, I was like screaming. I was
wait,
like, take it out.
did it like hurt for the first time or like does it always hurt?
To be honest, it always hurts, and it's because I have a needle eye. So it's just I just expect it to be like super, super.
Right. Let's go with that.
Fuck off.
No
But
comment.
listen, it's just when it good. But anyway, like
Yeah, man.
it was really, really painful, and I was like, take it out, take it out, take it out, take it out. And then he was very thoughtful, of course, kissing me and being very sweet and like, trying to be slow with it. It's like, thank you, I really appreciate it. And then he went to town, and the pain eventually turned into pleasure. And I have loved bottoming ever since. Anyway, after that, like we went back to his place. Well, he was like walking distance from where I lived. So we walked to his house and then I came back. And then walking back home, I was like, wow, I did feel a little bit different. I was like, wow, I did that. Like I felt like a grown woman. How about you? Did you feel different
Did
after the
what?
first? Like it's just
Huh?
like a subtle difference. Like, did you feel different after you first had sex? Like, did you feel like an adult?
Girl, my hole just hurt and that was it. I didn't feel tall. I didn't feel like I could take on the world. My asshole hurts.
Right. And then after that, you're like, no more modeling for me. I'm gonna stop that, damn it.
No more bottoming for me. Mm-mm.
It's so funny. I was like, this
Until
is great. I'm only going to watch. Like,
it's not for me, and it's still not for me.
that's fair. But yeah, it's just we never really got sex education in high school. It was very like cis hetero. It's all about like vagina and penis, nothing else. And it's like that wasn't relevant
Yeah,
to us. But we're not in
them
high school.
they
Oh, go ahead.
huh?
No, you were saying something?
No.
Oh yeah. But we're not in high school health class anymore. Nobody's gonna hold up a banana and awkwardly roll a condom onto it. But we need to be aware of what we're getting ourselves into. And that's why I think now is a perfect time for everyone to utilize the resources that we have available at our disposal, especially in a time right now where, queer identity is being threatened, not just like queer sex. They're revoking access to information. They're, penalizing people who are, utilizing their freedom of speech. So, I mean, use it before it's taken away from you. You know what I mean? All the access to, all the education that you can do it right now before, it's too late. But that being said, I do think protection is a non-negotiable. Condoms are your best friend. And I know some people like to say, oh, it don't feel the same. Baby, neither does chlamydia. Like, let's be real. Raw sex is fun. Like, objectively, everybody can admit that it feels better, objectively, bareback. But it's not fun when you're in a clinic nervously waiting for your results or Googling symptoms and
Right?
promising God you'll never be a
It's
hoe
not
again.
fun when you feel like you're peeing acid.
Exactly. Wait, it's not fun when you're what?
It's not fun when it feels like you're peeing acid.
Girl, what? I've never experienced that, but thank you for sharing your
I
truth.
don't know, I've just seen some memes on it's
Oh,
listen
of
to
course.
Suckwood. Don't play
But
with
yeah,
me.
it's not fun when you're promising God you'll never be a hoe again if he just lets you be negative. Like, I'm sure you've been there. But it's safe
Huh?
sex. But yeah, it just I know it probably feels good in the moment to, throw the condom. Safe sex isn't just about condoms. As we mentioned, PrEP exists now. And, PrEP is a once daily pill that prevents HIV. And HIV is not something that anyone really wants to have. Yes, you have bug chasers, and those are people who, for some reason, actively seek out getting infected. But it's not
Yeah,
somebody
you have people like that.
it's not something that someone wakes up one day and, says to themselves, you know what, today I want to have HIV. But also at the same time, it's not to say that being HIV positive is a death sentence anymore. We've come a long way.
It isn't anymore.
Right. We've come a long way, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't take for granted that I am HIV negative. Like, that's a blessing. But all it takes is just,
Oh
the
yeah,
one.
let me also say this. If you're HIV positive and you're just figuring that out or whatever the case may be, it's literally not the end of the world. You have
It's
people out there
not.
that still
It's
care
not.
for
Like,
you.
you're
You
still
still have
worthy.
a strong support system.
Exactly, exactly. Like, you're still worthy of love. You're still
No,
worthy
because
of
remember, like
relationship.
some people, yeah, when
But
some people hear the news, it feels like their entire world just like comes crashing down.
exactly, exactly. And it's like the reason for that is because of like how people talk about it, where it's just like there's this level of like like shame and stigma, and it's just like
I
people
think
say,
that comes from people. Hmm?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I think that comes from people saying that it's only a gay thing where gay
Right,
people caught HIV
right, right,
and
right.
it's
And it's
it's
not.
only like
It's
amongst
not.
us, but apparently was rated E for everybody.
Yeah, and it's also another thing where people say they don't use the term HIV, it's always AIDS, which is like, the advanced version when you're not
Hmm.
taking your meds and it's like almost too late to do anything at that point. But if you take your medication, you can bring down your viral load and be undetectable, which is great. That's an amazing advancement that we've done in terms of the science and the medicine. But prevention is better than cure. At the time of recording, there is no known cure for HIV. So it is a good idea to, if you can, as much as possible, be
Not
safe.
get it.
Right, be safe. But
Yeah.
if
And
you,
also, wait. I also want to say something too, right?
sure, of course,
You
of
know how
course.
you said like when you were younger, you didn't have any guidance?
Right, right, right.
Let's talk about that as well because there's some like I don't know, these children are crazy nowadays to just like the adults them. But like you have some soft soaps out there that like
Hmm.
just start the community
Hmm.
and they have these big dirty crusty old men that literally takes advantage of them.
Yep, yep.
Guys, be safe. Don't let
Yes,
anybody threaten or try to blackmail you because they literally have no power over you.
exactly, exactly. And if it doesn't feel right, trust your gut instinct. You know what I mean? And you know,
And leave.
yeah, sometimes people end up in like precarious situations where they are unfortunately exploited and taken advantage of. And sadly, that's because they don't really have any support system around them. So they just run to the first person who is like, "Oh, I'm here for you," but they don't know that that person
And
probably has
usually,
nefarious intentions. But continue
yeah,
what
that
you're saying.
person definitely. That person
Hmm.
probably, I don't like that topic, to be
Yeah.
honest.
No, I know
Not
it's
saying that it didn't happen to me, but
no, no, no. I know it's very uncomfortable, and there are so many older men out there who unfortunately do take
it's
advantage of young.
disgusting though.
I know, I know, and sadly, a lot of people like conflate homosexuality with pedophilia, and the two couldn't be any more different.
Hmm.
But I guess because of like the whole religion thing, I don't even know. I don't even know where that came from. But
We don't really care about that either. But anyways,
right,
girl,
I, don't-
enough of that. Listen, tell me about your slutty college experience. That's what we came for.
hold your horses. Hold your horses. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
No, honey.
Guys, we're still on
Mm-mm.
same. But yeah, like, don't be out here playing Russian roulette with your health. It's like if you're sexually active, you need to be getting tested regularly. Like, let's not forget regular STI testing every 3 months. Like, no excuses. And
Every 3 months.
yeah, let's drop the shame around it. Going to get tested doesn't mean you're dirty. Like, that's another thing. I really hate when people say, "Are you clean?" Like when they're asking like if you're HIV negative, like it doesn't mean you're dirty if you're positive. I just hate the terminology. But getting tested means being responsible. And we need to stop thinking of condoms and PrEP as killing the mood. Nothing I hate more than a man who goes soft as soon as he puts on a condom or believes in like Ra's law. Like, sir, I don't know you're from Adam. Like, you don't know me. If you don't want to use protection, clearly you don't respect. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like you're talking to someone and instantly they want to have raw sex, and it's just like you don't know what I have. I don't know what you have.
You
Why?
know, all right, let me give you a little story, right?
Sure.
So, there was this guy,
Hmm.
um, there was this guy. The story was he is walking around giving everybody free HIV, right?
Wow, that's
So,
a crime.
yeah,
Hmm.
yes, it is. So I'm like, huh, because there was videos of him having sex going around, right?
Oh, so he's recording
Yeah.
people without their knowledge.
No, I think they were very much aware because one of the videos involved him getting a golden shower in his
Okay.
mouth. But anyways,
Right.
but anyways, so the source that I heard it from also cited his Instagram. So I was like, let me text him real quick to see. Well, not to see, to just like scope things out because personally or really I was bored. So I was like, let me go text him. So I
Right.
texted him and we had a conversation and like we exchanged nudes and so and so. And the
As
first thing
one
they said
does.
is, I want to feel you inside me raw. And I
Oh
was like,
no.
you want me to fuck you raw? And he said yes. And I said I prefer condoms. And he
Right.
said he knows, but he prefers the actual feeling. I'm like, oh, so you're not the guy that's walking around spreading HIV like it's free samples. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, dude, your videos are literally leaked out there on the internet right now. And I sent him two. He was
Right.
mortified. He was like, where did you get that from? And I was like, bro, it's on the internet. What do you mean where I get
Right.
it from?
Oh
It
my
upon
God.
Andrew Olness internet. So he was like, oh my God. And it was like spiraling and freaking out. And I'm like, you're
Mm.
freaking out when you're literally giving everybody HIV.
Right. Like get your
And
priorities straight.
I think the person that leaked the video was the same person he was having sex with because that person had enough sense to
Mhm.
use a condom and must
Right.
maybe got the hint that he was spreading it.
Right.
So he gave him a taste of his own medicine and leaked the videos.
I don't like that. I don't like this
Needless to, I don't know
whole,
what ever became of him.
oh God. I just hope that he gets the mental health that he needs because clearly he's suffering. Clearly, it seems as if he got.
Not the mental.
No, no, because there's so many people who think that, okay, because they got diagnosed with this illness, that they have to, it's like they lash out on other people. It's
They
like,
need to go and pass it to everybody else.
right,
You know,
like
that's
if,
literally what he said. That's literally what he said.
oh yeah,
He said somebody gave it to me, so I'm gonna give it to everybody
there
else.
we go.
That's
And
literally what he said.
it's evil. It's evil, but also sad because I can see the logic behind it. It's not right. It's not okay, obviously, but I understand the human hurt in doing something like that. But that's why I say, I hope he gets the help he needs because hurt people. And I try as much as I can to be compassionate, even if somebody's terrible and awful. But God bless him and God bless his victims wherever they are.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, that goes back. That follows that follows up with like an important conversation that we need to have, which is connected, and it's the importance of communication in safe sex, because I feel like people think sex is just a
Mhm.
physical act, but so much of it is like mental and emotional too. And if you're not talking about,
I
what
don't
you
think people are having sex for the right reasons, to be
they're
honest.
not. I'm so glad you say that. I agree because some people, from observation and maybe, experience, I guess, also have sex to fill a void or to pass the time or, to self-harm.
Some people just do it for content. I don't know, self-harm. What do you mean?
Yeah, as an art, for instance, you ever like feel really bad about yourself, like low self-esteem, and your first instinct is to hook up with somebody, just to like feel better
Um,
or worse? Or for instance, like,
I,
no?
mm, I don't recall. I don't recall. It could be,
Right, but
could be,
but
but I don't
because I
recall.
I know for me, for example, like I have had instances where I feel like garbage, and my first instinct is to download Grinder, find the biggest dick I can
And go
possibly
get
find to
slotted
like
out.
destroy. Exactly, and it's just like that's not healthy. But it's just like it's a form of self-harm because like if you are a person who doesn't necessarily enjoy having meaningless sex, but you put yourself in those situations, you're gonna feel awful after, and so it becomes like a cycle almost where it's just like you feel bad, you hook up with someone, you feel good for like 2 seconds, you come, and then you feel terrible again, if not worse. So that's what I mean about using sex as a form of self-harm. So yeah, people have sex for a bunch of different reasons, but it's rare that they just do it to form genuine connection with people or to develop intimacy, which is really the purpose. Outside of the whole like biological imperative to procreate, outside of that, sex does bond people. Sex does make you feel close and connected, even if it's for like 5 minutes. And people abuse that, and I don't think that's right. But it's just a reality. It's a fact of life. But yeah, I feel like it's important to talk about what you want, what you don't want, what's safe for both of you. Because if you can't, what are you even doing? Like, if you can't, like, act like a honest, open dialogue with this person. Like, what? What's the point? You know what I mean? If you can't ask someone when they last got tested, why are you comfortable letting them raw dog you? Like, the truth, like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like, you should be having these types of like uncomfortable conversations with your sexual partners. Like, the truth hurts, but it shouldn't burn when you pee it. Like, if you're too embarrassed to talk about protection or STIs or boundaries, you're not ready to have sex. Point blank. Do you agree or not?
Trust me, it's the right thing. I agree. I agree.
But
I agree. What kind about
no, because no, I was just saying your tone is just like, you're right. However,
no
I just
girl? I'm just on Snapchat looking at men right now.
girl, if you don't put down grinder.com right now. Like I feel like
Yeah,
you're addicted, and that's something we also need to talk about. How a lot
you
of game,
know that I love.
no, it's a
Mm-hmm.
waste of time. A lot of women are sex addicts, yourself included. Like they're just
Like me
addicted.
addict me?
You're not.
No, no, girl.
You're not.
When was the last time I no,
So
no.
why are you literally on Grindr in the middle of a podcast? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Did
it.
I tell you? You heard what I did? You hear what I said? What app was I on?
What app are you on?
I said Snapchat.
Are you exchanging
A
nudes? Yes
grind
or
that you
no?
want your, huh?
Are you exchanging nudes? Are you looking at nudes?
No, I haven't exchanged nudes in a while. Actually,
Why don't I believe you?
think I should think I should change that. When the podcast, so I listen want to exchange nudes with me.
Ah,
My nudes are bomb, by the way.
sure, John.
What? Am
Sure,
I
John.
lying though? I think you've seen my nudes. Am I
Many
lying?
times against my will. Yeah, I'm half expecting to hear the Gremlin notification go up any minute now, but not my circus, not my
For
mom.
you?
Girl, bye. I haven't used that godforsaken app in years. Well, that's not true, but I haven't used it
Yeah,
in a
let's
while.
go with that.
In a while. Grandma is a system, like a literal system. I don't
Like
have.
overall or just in Jamaica?
Um, honestly, I think it's a universal thing, to be honest. Like, I don't like how it kind of feels like when you're on the app, it's like a meat market. Like people don't treat you like a person. You're like an object. You kind of feel objectified. People don't have conversations really. I don't like it. I just don't like the energy. I always feel awful when I'm on the app, so I try not to use it. But since I've been back
Mm,
in Jamaica, ever since my recent trip to chilling back in January, I haven't really used the app because you hear all these horror stories about people being like assaulted
unalived?
or exactly or killed. Like I don't think it's safe. So I try not to, you know, indulge or participate.
Yeah,
Besides, I'm looking for
you
something more
don't.
serious and meaningful. So I don't have time. I really don't. And you're not gonna find your future
Any
husband.
luck?
Yes. But
Actually, you
look,
probably could.
well, true. But based on my experience, like I can count on one hand the people I'm still in contact with that I've met on Grindr. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, let's talk about pleasure, the difference between performative and genuine pleasure. Specifically, the difference between actually enjoying sex and just performing for the other person. Because I feel like for a lot of people, especially women and queer folks, we've been conditioned to be people pleasers in bed. And so many of us fake it because we think that's what we're supposed to do. We moan a little extra. We put on a show. We become porn actresses. Like we're screaming, and it's just like, is he really hitting it that hard? But we're doing the most. Or we go along with things we don't even like because we think that's what our partner wants. But like, where's the fun in that? Like, have you ever faked like an orgasm or faked enjoying yourself for the other person's benefit?
I think so.
Who hasn't? Literally, who hasn't? Like, who hasn't? I feel like all of us have at some point, whether we want to admit it or not. You know what I mean?
Screaming.
I feel like, I don't know, like, if I'm honest with myself, like, I don't know if I actually enjoy sex as much as people would like to believe I do. Because, I don't know, it's like, I would much rather, like, just enjoy sitting down side by side watching TV or like doing like a shared activity together than hooking up. Like quality time is my love language. Like not physical touch. Like physical touch is probably way down there. But I guess
For you?
sometimes no, yeah, for me, like I don't mind PD.
Oh no.
I don't mind like, being felt up, but it's like it's not something that I particularly enjoy. Does that make sense?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I much rather like having like a conversation with someone first. Like it's just about the intimate moments. Like don't get me wrong, I love kissing, I love foreplay, I love all of that. But it's just like I don't need to be penetrated to have a good time. Like it's
Oh no, no, no.
oh, you definitely have to be penetrated or penetrate someone to have a good time. Like what's a good time for you? How do you define?
Not necessarily, not
Mm,
necessarily for me. Foreplay or just head will do, but the thing with me is, me personally, I don't know about anybody else.
right.
If you give, I don't, if you're wanting to give me head, at least make it feel good because, like, some people give head out there and it
Mm.
literally feels like you're putting your dick in a hole filled with broken glass. I don't know how the fuck
No
you
teeth,
have it. Yeah,
no
I
teeth.
don't know how the hell you want to so good and you're not good at it. You're not good at it.
Well,
That don't make no sense. It doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
I can't relate to that because I haven't had any complaints, but I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I understand how uncomfortable that can be. But for me, it's just like, I don't know, it's like sometimes, I don't know, like, for me, as soon as I come, it's like I lose all interest in sex. I'm like, please get like pull out. I don't. I'm move up, like roll over. I'm not in the mood. I just want to cuddle or
The
move
thing
on.
the thing for me is like as a verse,
Mm,
whenever I prefer to be a verse, but if I'm versing, if
mm,
I come first, if I come first, like I top you and I come first,
yeah.
then I don't think I'm going to lose interest. I don't
Oh, okay.
think
So you have a high sex
I think
drive.
it's because of my high sex drive.
Right,
Yes.
right. Yeah, that's why if I'm hooking up with someone, I prefer that they come first because if I do it, I'm sorry. Like I'll try to continue, but you can tell that I'm not really as into it anymore. And so that's why it's like I'd rather not have sex because as soon as I come, it's like, okay, what are you doing? Like, the vibe changes. And also, like, honestly, I'm easily aroused. Like, it doesn't take much for me to come. Like, I've come from people just putting the tip in. Yeah, I've come from kissing, honestly. Like, I've come from, like, somebody, like, just kissing me. Like, you know what
I
I mean?
literally made a dude come just by looking at him.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
look come hit
for
their
real.
eyes. I know that's right.
No, for real though, because like he was just there checking me out, and I was just being very much platonic, nothing
Mm.
serious. We're just
You're
talking
having
about
eye sex
schoolwork.
with him. That's what you're doing. You're having eye sex in the corner of
He
the
was
bar.
having eye sex with me. I was paying attention to what I was doing. He was
Mm.
like, he has a secret to tell me. And I was like, what do you mean? And I looked down and he was wearing like a white jeans and it was like stained on the crotch. So I was like, wait. And he said,
That's kind of sweet.
he came. And I'm like, you came from what? And he was like, just from being around me. And I was like,
I kind of love that. I kind of
I
love
did
that.
that.
Like I love when someone is excited to see
Hmm.
me. Like I love if you're just hard,
Same.
like or just I don't know. I love that. But it's just like it. We don't have to have sex for us to enjoy each other's company. And I feel like real pleasure
I
isn't
don't know.
about. Hmm?
Some dudes out there just wants to like get inside your guts, to be
Yeah,
honest. It
I
doesn't
know, but
count
it's
or worth their
no.
time unless
I know, and it's unfortunate. I've had the misfortune of having
it's
to deal with
disgusting.
people like that. But
Even me
it's
as a Verstapp, people are still out there that's like, I make it very clear that I don't wish to be topped by anybody. And
right.
people are literally still so consistent, but you're going to love it.
Ugh,
I tell a lot of people I don't like my ass it. Their response is always that generic, oh, you just haven't had the right person. You're like, nigga, shut the fuck up.
to be honest,
If I wanted the right person, I would have found the right person already.
to be
I just don't
honest,
like it.
To be honest, like real jobs do nothing for me. It's like if it happens, it happens. But it's not something that I'm just like, wow, I love this. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, BJs are more fun, giving and receiving, I feel like. But it's like I don't need my asset. I don't need to eat your ass. It doesn't really. So I will admit there have been times where it's just like really good. But generally speaking, it's just like I don't need that to happen. But it's just
I don't
interesting.
need it from me.
Yeah, I don't need it. But it's just interesting that, some guys will eat your ass before they kiss you. I don't understand what that's about. It's like kissing is more intimate to them than like eating. I don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, not my circus, not my. But what I was saying earlier is like real pleasure isn't about performing, it's about actually feeling good. And I don't know if a lot of us have actually thought about what makes us feel good, what we actually like. And that's why I think that exploring yourself first is important because a lot of people's like exposure to sex is via porn. And they think that's what they like because it's what they see and it's what they're aroused by. But porn and actual
Mm-hmm.
sex are two different things. You know what I mean? Like you see people having sex in porn and it's just
I mean,
like
it could possibly become the same thing. It
not
could
really because
possibly.
you're performing on the camera in porn. Like it's a
No, but
performance.
no, all right, no, for all right. So the thing with me is, right, when I'm bottoming, I never had any experience. I literally sucked at that shit. It's literally porn that makes me bottom. Like the
Right,
pro people would think I am. Because
right.
I literally just watch video and watch how like the bottoms and tops move, so I
Right, and
incorporate that
you're
in
mimicking, you're
how I have
reenacting what you saw.
sex.
Exactly. So it's not something
And
that comes
girl,
authentic to you.
God no, nobody no complain them ever want to come back and get some more.
The lies
Like
we tell ourselves.
the
Mhm,
first time I rode dick, my partner was like, "This is the first time." Usually, he said usually doesn't like being rode because like people don't do it good, but
mhm.
he said I did it like a pro for my first time.
Love to
No,
see
he
it.
didn't know that it was my first time until I let him know, and he was like, "That shit was amazing." I was like, "Of course," instead of me comfortable.
I love that. And that's the irony. A lot of us discover sex through porn and we go into sex
Hmm
thinking that's what it's supposed to look like. But more often than not, it's
I
not.
mean,
Like
I
sex
think that's
sometimes is
subjective to what you want.
true, true, but it's like,
Yeah,
go
mhm.
ahead.
I was gonna say it is subjective to what you want because there's some people out there that doesn't like it long, some people that does like it long, some people that likes it gentle, some people that likes it rough.
Right, right, right. That's true. That's true. It is a matter
Because
of
people are
perspective.
diverse these days. People are diverse. People have a lot of different wants and needs.
True.
So
But I feel like porn kind of like sets up very unrealistic expectations because sometimes we'll feel like we'll have to do all of these acrobatics that hurt more than they help. Like we'll feel
not
like
the
we'll have a,
acrobatics.
yeah, like we'll feel like we'll have a bone flip on the body end only to end up with like a crick neck. Or, you end up like putting yourself in very uncomfortable situations because you think it's sexy or like you're doing a position and it's
Mhm.
just like you think it's what you're supposed to do, but then it's not something that actually feels good to you, but you think that's what sex is about, and it's not. And so I feel like exploring yourself and figuring out what you actually like and not what porn tells you you're supposed to like is important because to be honest, this is why I love masturbation because you figure out what turns you on when you're by yourself. And self pleasure is good. It is something that I would encourage people to do more of. Like, not to say that you need to masturbate to porn all the time. Like, that's not what it's about. In fact, I'd recommend not jerking off to porn. Just like closing your eyes, in your room and fantasizing. Use your brain, because the biggest sex organ you have is your brain. It's not your penis. It's not your asshole. It's not your vagina. It's actually your brain. Pleasure
Eh,
is, mental. Um,
Like,
but
then girl, when you jerk off, do you not jerk off with porn, like watching porn, or you just like
yeah, I
close
mean,
your eyes
yeah,
and imagine?
obviously, like I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch porn when I jerk off. But it's like more often than not when I'm watching porn, like I fast forward to like the money shot. Like I rarely just watch the whole thing. And like I said, I tend to come quick, so it's just like I'm not watching porn for too long. But I find that like when I'm not watching it and I'm like, just by myself fantasizing, it's much more fun and the orgasm is more intense because it's something that I'm creating, like the fantasy in my head or a memory.
Girl, I only do that when light gone. I
Sometimes
only do that
before,
when light gone. I don't have
you know,
internet to load Twitter.
sometimes before bed, it's nice, at the end of the day, like before you fall asleep, it's nice just to like release all that
Me
built up.
soon.
Yeah, all that built up tension from the day, it's nice. It's a nice release. But if you don't know what makes you feel good, I feel like how are you expecting someone else to figure it out, It's like trying to order at a restaurant but not know what's on the menu. So you have to explore your body. You have to do it on your own first before you make someone else do it. So I don't know. I think sex should be about what you want, not what other people expect of you. You're not here to fulfill someone else's fantasy at the expense of your own comfort. But with that being said, in terms of like discovering pleasure and what we like and what we don't like, I'm curious, what are some of your turn-ons and turn-offs? Like, let's start with
My
turn-ons first.
my turn ons.
Mm-hmm.
Um. All right. So for a turn on, right? Like it has to be like appearance wise, because
Okay.
I don't like slim dudes because no matter how much we can try, I won't
Mm-hmm.
be aroused by a slim dude. I always like my bare body guys. I like guys that are
Same.
like thick,
Same.
well built,
Mm.
like even a little bit of tummy that turns me on.
Yeah, same. I'm like,
I
I,
like getting
I love a dad bod with a big belly. It's like squish me, daddy. Like, I love
yes,
that.
yes,
Not to
that
say
is
that
it.
skinny men aren't attractive, because I have been
They
attracted to skinny
are,
men.
but like I haven't been. I'm sorry, girl.
I get it.
Well,
We
not
all have
really.
our preference. And honestly, I feel like
But
abs
like
are overrated. I don't, muscular guys with really big six packs really don't do it for me. I love like a guy who's not necessarily like fat. Like, not that there's anything wrong with a guy who's fat, but it's just like, I just love like a little, some love handles, some curves, the belly, as I mentioned. Um,
some
someone,
fat ass,
right? Someone with some
some
meat on
fat
their bones.
ass.
Um, but I feel like for me, my biggest turn on is attention. Literally, anybody showing me a shirt of attention, I'm like, yes. Like, I is that sad?
Oh no. My greatest turn on is getting my nipples sucked because if you do, you're guaranteed a fuck.
Mm, mm. My nipples aren't very sensitive. Like, I mean, yes, they're. Here's the thing.
Mine
Like,
are. I'm told that they get even more sensitive if you pierce them. So I'm
yeah,
told.
I hear like I've heard that as well. Honestly, I love when nipples are kind of like protruding, like they kind of look like torpedoes. Like I love that. Um, they're fun to suck on. I love them. But personally, like I don't have sensitive nipples. Like yes, you can suck on them, but I won't be like aroused or anything. Um, I feel like my erogenous zone is probably like my belly, my stomach. I'm kind of ticklish so it's like if you're like licking my stomach or something like that with your tongue, I'm giggly, but it also feels good. But for me, it's like it's just about intimacy. Like that's a fetish, a kink, a turn on for me. Intimacy. I love feeling close to the person. And it's not just about physical touch. It's just about, wow, this person's energy is like so hot, so sexy. Like something about their presence just intrigues me. So I just like feeling that connection to somebody.
Sounds like you're demisexual.
Yeah, for sure. Although, yes, but also I don't really use terms like that because I kind of find them like pretentious. You know how some people are like, oh, I'm a sapiosexual, I'm turned on by intelligence. Like, shut the fuck up. We all are. Nobody likes someone who's, you know what I mean? Like, nobody likes someone who's dumb or stupid. Like, we all love intelligence. But I, to be honest, I feel like obviously, I'm gay, obviously. But I feel like queer makes more sense. Like as like a description. Like I like even though queer is like this political term, I feel like it makes more sense. Like it's this umbrella term that is all encompassing and it means it's more personal. And so in terms of sexuality, that's what I would identify as. But yeah, turn ons.
No, 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 I already told you mine.
No, oh, that's it? You don't have any more?
Do I have any more? Good head. Good head is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting my nipples sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? I like fingering, even though I need to cut my fingernails. But oh
You want to
well.
know what's funny? Like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, if someone is
I don't
fingering,
think you're supposed to like. I don't know if anybody likes it. I don't think like you're supposed to, but
so
it
why do
like
people do it? Why do they do it if you're not
to
supposed
loosen
to?
you up, to
Oh,
loosen you up,
okay.
or get you in the mood at least because some people it stimulates them enough for
Uh,
them to get in the mood
it
because
doesn't.
my hands are big. My hands are like small dicks, I'm told,
Uh,
because it's supposed to make things easier, but my fingers are big and thick and shit, so
I love that, the masculine energy as well. But I don't know, like fingering, it doesn't really do much for me. If anything, it kind of agitates me because you're feeling the fingernails. The guy is just like digging into you. It's not really pleasant. It's just like I'd rather you not. I can warm myself up. Like I don't need that. Um, but for me, I think there's just something incredibly
mhm.
attractive about someone who's just authentically themselves, no matter what. It's refreshing. So that's sexy. That's a turn on. As a matter of fact, I go so far as to say that people who are just like completely sexually uninhibited and aren't afraid to explore their deepest, darkest urges, no matter how twisted or taboo they are, that's sexy to me. That's very hot. Like, I kind of like a guy who's kind of perverted. Like, vanilla men don't do anything for me. And that's kind of why I don't really appreciate Jamaican men because they're like sexually repressed. Almost like just DL men, don't know guys. It's just like they're very vulnerable. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they don't do certain things, they're not comfortable with their sexuality or bodies or getting outside of their
Mhm.
comfort zones. And it's not fun at all, like engaging with people like that. And so that's why I don't necessarily invest a lot of energy or time in don't know guys. Like I understand, the need to be discreet. I get that. I understand that some men aren't comfortable expressing their sexuality because they're concerned about like safety or they're not in an environment where they can be as like free as they want. But listen, like I'll meet you where you're at. You know what I mean? Like I don't like when guys are like emotionally closed off. I don't like it. And I find that a lot of men in Jamaica are like, would you agree?
Repeat that part. I didn't hear.
I feel like a lot of guys in Jamaica are closed off, like sexually, like repressed, like buttoned up. Would you agree?
Like in general or the fags?
Not the F words, but yes,
Um, Given our
go
society
for it.
and culture, I
Right.
agree
Hmm.
heavily on the culture part. God no,
Right. Which is ironic,
because they have to.
given like
Mm-hmm.
dancehall culture and like carnival, which is very like like it looks very sex positive, and all the songs and all the dance moves are very like sexual. All the gyrating and the hip whining and all of that. You'd think that they'd be very in touch with their sexuality, but not really. But what were you saying?
I was gonna say, let's keep in mind that it's normal to like do all that in public, like
Hmm.
when it's a male and a female.
Yes, that is
But
true.
like, remember that like being gay is like looked down upon by the
That's
rest of
true.
society.
That's
Even though
true.
at this point I think like everybody's doing something, but they don't want it to be known. That's what I think, at
That's true.
least.
That's true. That's very true. Like you'd be surprised about how many guys who are like they claim to be straight, but they hook up with guys on the side. Like it's an
And then
epidemic.
still call themselves straight. That's the crazy part.
You want to know which phrase always makes
No,
me
for real,
laugh?
it happened.
No, it makes me laugh whenever like somebody will say like a girl holds shit up because her boyfriend have sex with men. on the side.
I really hate
Like
hearing that.
it's funny
Like
to
the
me.
hell?
Like it's very homophobic, but it does make me laugh when I hear it. It's just so unserious. But we do have a lot, like culturally, like we have a lot of work to do. We have a long way to go in terms of like how we talk about sex, how we view sex, because a lot of people don't even consider bisexuality a thing. Like if you're bi, you're either gay or in denial. You know what I mean? Um, and that's not fair. You know what I mean? It's not fair at all. But
It is not.
mm-mm. But here's what I'll do. How about I share some of my turn-ons and you tell me if it turns?
Okay.
Okay, great. So I actually have like a kink list. Like I'm pretty open-minded, so I'll try almost anything as long as it's safe, sane, and consensual. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, all of these things are like open to negotiation and you know, the more experience and exposure I have, my tastes will evolve. But right now, some of the things that turn me on in no particular include, but aren't limited to kissing, love kissing, um, cuddling, spooning, bottoming, obviously, BJs, giving and receiving, but mostly giving. Um, body, facial hair, love hair guys.
Love.
Yes, musk, natural body scents, not like smelling, but just like a
Mm,
natural, just like just like a natural body scent. You know, like when you're cuddling someone and you can smell their armpits. Like I'm into. I don't know. Is that a no for you?
that one could have gone, girl.
All right. How about foreskin, uncircumcised guys? Like I like.
I don't know about that one. I don't mind it as long as the dick isn't ugly.
As long as the dick is clean, nothing I hate, nothing is more
And that
repulsive than
part,
like dick cheese. Like, please clean the under your foreskin. Like, smegma is not
you can put it under your bun, girl.
what?
You can put the dick cheese under your buns.
Hugo, please. Moving on. Size difference. I love when guys are like bigger. I love when guys are like bigger
You-
than me or taller than me. Like that's hot. Or sometimes shorter, like shorter to our short kings. Like it's kind of
I
endearing.
prefer my short kings.
I'm sure. Although
Prefer my short kings.
it kind of is funny for me to be like a tall bottom, like getting plowed by a short top. Like I kind of look like a praying mantis. Like it's so funny. Like trying to like get
It's
comfortable.
weird.
I don't know. I don't know. Another turn on big bellies, which you already mentioned. Big butts. Like I love like a
Mm-hmm.
big butt, like something you can grab onto. Um, big dicks, obviously.
More fuck.
It's so funny. A lot of my friends
Are you
think
a
that
size
I
queen?
was just about to fucking say a lot of my friends think that I'm a size queen, but I don't identify as one because while I will say that like big dicks are nice to look at, they're not nice to experience. Like it makes you feel like you're being
They're only nice enough to give head to.
to an extent. To an extent. Because if it's too big, then it becomes uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like you're getting railed by like a pole, which isn't fun, but it's nice to look at. It's nice to feel. It's nice to play with, but not to experience. Like it's just more like more so the aesthetic. Or remember earlier when I said like a form of self-harm, where it's just like I can be feeling bad about myself, and then I'm just like, okay, let me find a dick that will like literally kill me. Like that's the vibe. Like so I guess that's an element of it why they appeal to me. Aesthetic. Um, there's definitely something masochistic about it for sure. And you know, it's funny. Like, how is it that I can handle like a big dick at the bum, but not like a tiny prick on the finger by a needle when I'm getting tested? Hilarious, hilarious. But honestly, I generally prefer girth to length. Like, if it's thick, that's more fun than if it's long. I feel like it's more fun
Same
to,
actually. I prefer girth more than length. I'm recently realizing that.
yeah, I feel like it's more fun to play with that way. Um,
It is.
what else?
A little beer can in your hand and your ass.
There we go. So I'd much rather short and fat than long and skinny. What else? Big balls, big lips, big nose.
Uh, well, the
What's it?
lips are.
Yes.
Even though I don't practice kissing, I really don't. I don't like kissing dudes
Where it's too
outside of a
intimate for you.
relationship.
Too intimate.
For me, yeah.
Okay, I understand. And some guys have bad oral hygiene. Like, it's just, ugh. But big balls for sure, big noses. Like I love Afrocentric features. Like if you have like a big nose and big lips and you're like dark skinned, like yes, I love that. I like big things, what can I
hmm
say? Deep voices, um, that's hot. But not too deep where it's like scary, but just, a little bass, a little baritone. Going skinny dipping, love that. Whether it's like in a river, a
Never
beach.
done that. I need to cross that off my bucket list.
Yes, it's so much fun. And I love being out in nature, to be honest. I love rain. Rain turns me on. I love getting wet.
But I'm kind of iffy about it because a friend had told me a story about going skinny dipping.
Really?
Apparently, apparently,
God bless you. Are you okay? Oh
I'm
my
okay.
gosh. What happened?
Anyways, I'm sorry.
Mm,
Uh, anyways, so
mm,
a friend of mine, well, an ex-friend of mine,
mm.
told me a story. Basically, he got an STI just from skinny dipping. He
Elaborate.
skinny dipped with some. He skinny dipped in a pool with some fags,
Oh my
and
God.
apparently one of them had something special, and
hmm
he shared something special with everybody in the pool.
I don't
So
think it
everybody
works
else,
that
like,
way. Don't you have to have
trust me, it
sex to
does.
transmit a sexually transmitted disease? Isn't that how
Not
it works?
necessarily, to be honest. No,
Mm,
not necessarily.
okay.
Like, remember, it's floating around in the water, and you're butt naked in the water.
I feel like that's like a dangerous line of argument because then it's like, oh, if you touch someone, you can catch something, and that's not true. It depends. Like, are you exchanging body fluids? You know what I mean, or blood? Um,
I mean, the bodily fluids are floating around in the water, girl.
I'd like to have a conversation with that ex-friend. I don't think they're being completely transparent. Like something must have happened within that body of water.
I'm not sure, but I know the person that had the thingy, and I
Mhm.
was like, mm-mm.
So, anyway, so moving on. Next turn on, rain. Get turned on by rain. Love when it rains. Every time it rains, I fall to
When it rains,
pieces.
I just wanna sleep. That's all I really want.
Yes, it's perfect puddle weather. I agree. That being said, aquaphilia, which is like having sex in or around water, like pools or rivers, that's fun. Um, Hypersperming, which is like heavy cum shots, that's hot too. Love that. Like I love a big load. Um, Pre-cum, I can't pre-cum, but I love when guys can. It's very
I
sexy.
really hate it. Actually, I hate cum.
Really interesting.
I don't like it. It's disgusting.
Ironic.
I don't like it on me.
I thought you're a cum guzzling dick pig. Like I really did, but I
No,
don't.
I don't like it on me. Maybe in me, but I don't like it on me at all.
In you, I thought we practiced safe sex, girly pop. What are you like?
We
No, but
do, but however, I have somebody special, and in all
okay,
honesty, it's been years since I've gotten a load inside me, or
okay. She
since
likes
I
being
bust a
bred.
load inside somebody.
Okay,
I haven't been bred or
interesting.
anything like that in years, friend.
Okay, noted. Duly noted. I like being called baby by a man. That's so
I
sexy to
like
me.
being called baby boy. That turns me on.
Yes, that too. But I also like being called a whore. Like,
Because you are a whore.
goodbye. I just love when guys are capable of being affectionate and degrading. So soft doms are a plus. Like if you're capable of like, I don't know, being like rough but also soft at the same time. Like maybe like slapping me and then giving me a kiss. Like he hit me and it felt like a kiss vibes. Like I don't know. Maybe that's sci-fi.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
119.
What? Um,
Nothing. I mean, yeah, it's a bit nice sometimes for true.
Like slap my ass cheeks while I'm being pounded. Like that is so hot to me. Like
My
not
love
I'm
choked me
endorsed
from
in
the
like
back.
yeah, like not that I'm endorsed in like
Violence.
violence or domestic abuse, but in a certain context it is hot. Another turn on receiving money, getting gifts, especially as a
Ooh.
reward for being a good boy, like unexpectedly. Thank you. Very hot. Um, sex toys, dildos, vibrators, butt plugs, those are hot. Um, Underwear,
Not really. They don't do anything for me.
fair enough. Underwear, specifically jock straps. I think those are hot. I love
I
wearing
have on
them.
one right now.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, behave. I love PVC clothing. I love the texture of it. I love the look of it. It's like this like shiny material. I love it, especially if it's black. I love leather. I like leather harnesses, garter belts, chokers. Um,
Same.
Latex. Like I love the feel of latex. Like condoms. Like I love that. Um,
Mm,
like what else do I like? I love voyeurism. I like watching things, but also like
I do. That's
exhibitionism.
boring.
Like you, you think voyeurism is boring?
It doesn't do anything for me personally.
Oh, okay, fair. And I'm a bit of an exhibitionist as well, so I like both of those. What else do I like? I've been to a couple orgies. I've been to a couple sex parties. Those are fun. It would be
Same, but I never participate.
so you watch, so you're a voyeur. Hello. Um,
Not No, 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 no. The thing is, they don't allow you in the room unless you're doing stuff,
okay.
and
So
it doesn't like start out like that. I only go like for games night and stuff, and then it like turns into that kind of event. So I
right.
don't like, yeah, I don't like strange men touching me.
You dirty whore. I've invited you to so many of those events, and you're like, no, it's not your scene. Only to hear that you've been
It's
to a
not
couple.
mine.
Goodbye. Goodbye. What else do I like?
Mm,
Nudism, like being a nudist, that's hot to me. What else do I like? Uh,
Same. I'm an exhibitionist.
Love that. Yeah, those are most of my turn-ons. But it's funny because there are certain things in like porn that are hot to me that in real life I probably wouldn't do. For example, like,
Oh, I like getting fisted.
ew, no, I'd never get fisted. Like, I like having control of my bowels. Thank you very much. I don't like seeing
Don't
most.
knock it till you try it.
Oh, you've been
Don't
fisted?
knock it till you try it.
You've been fisted? Oh
Have
God.
you ever fisted me? Have you ever fisted me?
Is that an open invitation? Because let me get
You can
the
fist me with
link.
your tongue.
Oh, naughty, naughty. But yeah, I feel like the older I get, the darker my taste in like porn becomes. Because there are certain things that like I like to watch in porn that I probably wouldn't do in real life. It's just more so about like the fantasy of it than the reality. For example, like race play or like gay incest. But yeah, I wouldn't do any of those things in real life.
Mm,
But yeah, like for me though, I more so just appreciate like being turned on by people who are like, in touch with themselves and secure and confident. Like that's sexy. So it's never really about like femme or mask. It's just about like how you carry yourself and how comfortable you are in your skin. And I
I
just like,
get you.
yeah, just like someone who's like kind, love intimacy and things like that. But something I am curious about. Do you believe that body count matters?
Me personally, I don't know. I don't know because some people are real hypocrites.
Mhm.
They're like, and I'm one of them hypocrites, I'm not gonna lie. Because it doesn't matter, but all right, the way some people see it, it's like buying a used car. Like you
Oh,
know that because it's used, the value goes down. And like
okay.
it depends on how much people use the car, depends on how much the car is worth. That's how like some people see it. And I'm kind of the same, not to the same extent, because my body count is a number.
Triple digits.
Excuse me? What?
You heard me. You heard me. There's
I'm
no
pretty
shame.
sure yours is very higher still, but
It is.
anyways.
It
Yeah,
is,
man,
but it
whore.
whatever. Like no shame in my game. Like I can't be slut shamed because I'm not ashamed of being a slut. Let's start there.
All right,
But
Rosebud.
but I don't know. I feel like it's very like dehumanizing to like think of a person as like a used car. Because it's like I don't know, it's like I feel like a person, first of all, no shame if somebody's a virgin, but for me, it's like I wouldn't want to hook up with someone who has like no sexual experience because like they wouldn't know what they're doing. They wouldn't feel comfortable like experimenting. They're
Trust me, I know what it's like because like I tried something with this guy
Mhm.
and it was I was kind of low-key annoyed, right?
Right.
Because I wasn't even in. I was like he was moaning excessively and I was like I'm not even in. And I know that it could be the pain of trying to get it in, but I was like, let me test something. So what
Mm,
I did was put the tip on the hole on it and not in it just to
right.
see his reaction, and he was
Mhm.
moaning like he was in pain, and I'm like, I'm literally not doing anything to cause you pain. Like, what are you moaning
Like
for?
what, just extra for no reason. But maybe he was probably like, mimicking what he thought actors are supposed to do. So it's not, he wasn't being realistic or authentic in that moment.
Now that would have turned me off. It would have ended right there if that was the case.
Right. So I personally prefer when somebody has like sexual experience. And I don't know, it's like I don't like to judge anybody based on body count because I'm the last person to judge anybody. And I feel like applying outdated morality to, modern dating and sexuality is like, it's not helpful. And
No, 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 girl, but some of them girl I need to get shame for true. They're doing the
why?
fucking most. They are doing the most. They are doing the most.
I,
Because I know this child, right? Well, it's a bigger person for me, but let's call him a child.
correct, yeah.
Like I I really liked him,
Hmm.
and seemingly he liked, well, he didn't like me, he just wanted to make content, and I'm like, we already
Mm,
established if we're having sex, it's not to be like videoed or recorded to
right,
be posted, whatever the case may be. And he's like, all right then. But I was told that he's the type of person that will promise to like do it in private, but will secretly record it. And I really don't fuck with people like that. And
right.
it's always those type of people that are the most, like, it's a case where the ones that are always making content are the ones that are always making like risky content to keep
Hmm.
viewers updated. They
Right,
like the views, I know, like people love the riskiness of it all because some
right. Of
people prefer the thrill of the action than the action
course,
itself,
of
so that
course.
it'll get more views. You have people like that, and it's people like that I really don't fuck with. And unfortunately, it's the ones that are always be like them ever take fuck. Like, to them, me come online and see a new video. Tomorrow
Right.
is another video. Tomorrow is the next video. Tomorrow, oh, you one can take so much cocky. Me not understand.
Well, I mean, it there depends. Probably they film things in advance. Like they film it today, but they take like a while to edit, and so like they probably post it next week. But it's like you think it's actually the same day, but it's not. So I don't think they're actually doing it back to back to back to back because of course your hole needs rest, your dick needs rest. But I don't know. It's like.
No man, no, nothing, nothing. They need to stop it. Stop, stop it. Go look at fucking 9 to 5 like everybody else. We're all
Mhm.
suffering out here.
True, but I mean, if that's how they make their money, like doing OnlyFans, I mean, who are we to knock their hustle? You know what I mean?
Right? Go take fuck and make that bag.
Right,
I'm, I don't know how to do it. That's why I can't bottom very hard. Me can't, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
right. And I guess the reason why I don't judge anyone's body count is because we don't know the reason why people's quote unquote body count is so high. Like, for example, like, let's be real, like, do we consider oral sex sex? Because for me, if we're just thinking about oral sex, as sex, then I'm sure my body count is in the triple digits. But if it's just like penetration, I would not considering like foreplay or like anything, that doesn't involve penetration. Then it's double digits. So
Mm.
so it's like body count varies, but as long as somebody is like, using protection and being safe and not being irresponsible with their
Friend,
body.
a lot of them get out and use no protection.
I know, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part to me. Like I understand the mentality behind it, where it's just like they're like, raw sex feels good, but it's like we established earlier, like it's not fun waiting in the clinic. It's not fun waiting on your results. So it's just best to wrap it up or go on prep. But yeah, I think like these archaic cis hetero standards that we apply to gay dynamics, like it's just very twisted in the sense of like, okay, if a guy is femme, he's a bottom. If he's masc, he's a top. And so, we don't expect women to be promiscuous or have a lot of sex because then we look at them like a whore. And,
Hmm.
God forbid a bottom exudes confidence and enjoys sex because we assume that it's the top that's supposed to exhibit those qualities. And, we expect the top to have like a lot of sex and a lot of like gal in a bungle, so to speak. So it's like we do judge bottoms differently than we do tops.
Hmm.
And I feel like that double standard is unfair. Yeah,
It
it's
is, but in
yeah,
all honesty, I don't think anybody is going to do anything about it because
right.
in life, things are subjective. You always have some group of people that you cannot please and some
Mhm.
group of people that is all for equity. But
Right. Equal rights for sure.
I don't know. People are weird these days. People are very weird these days.
For
Might,
sure.
might as well
But
just be weird with them.
I agree. And yeah, I understand like why some people have reservations about dating like a sex worker or somebody who does OnlyFans. It doesn't bother me because when I went to Chile, there was this guy who like I went on a couple dates with and we had a great vibe, great chemistry. But then unbeknownst to me, I discovered that he does do OnlyFans on the side. And at first I was like, oh. And so I subscribed and it was hot, not gonna lie. And it I didn't have a problem with it at all because I like to consider myself sex positive. But over a period of time, like the more I started catching feelings, the more jealous I found myself becoming. Because it's just like I'd start watching the videos and I'm just like, that should be like, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't judge him for doing what he has to do to secure the bag, but it's just like I guess for me it's kind of hard sometimes to picture someone that you have feelings for hooking up with somebody else. So I don't know how I feel about like open relationships personally, but I it it's a reality that we have to deal with in modern day gay dating. A lot of gay couples are like open, but some of them aren't. Some of them like just cheat on their spouse and just move on like it's nothing, which is also a different discussion altogether. But
Very.
I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say, like I don't like the idea of like body count determining someone's worth because it literally means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't matter how many people you hooked up with. It like the only thing that matters is like your skill level because it's like you could be having a lot of sex but be terrible at it. You know what I mean? You could have like a low body count and be terrible at it. So it's like it doesn't matter. The only like quantity doesn't equal quality. So I just believe in honoring the experience, like not measuring the morality of it. Like sex isn't about like, you know, good bad, so to speak. It's just about
The thing is, all right, so I get what you're saying, but the thing is with people,
mhm,
they don't like the idea of somebody being too experienced because
right.
let's say that, in Jamaica, people are ghetto and they don't hold their tongues, right?
You
Let's
said it.
say let's say you have a couple friends and this dude saying that he's seeing a girl and
Mhm,
then one of his friends saying, oh, I fucked her already, and
mhm,
then you know that he's going to look at her differently, right?
mhm,
Now imagine that, but you hear that on a wider scale.
right.
I
I
fucked
mean,
them already, I fucked them already, I fucked them already, and you're hearing that from different people. So you're like, some people are like, I'm not quite sure I'm comfortable with this. And
mm,
some people actually have the right to say that because they don't like the idea of like so many people knowing what their partner looks like naked. So I can understand why somebody would be uncomfortable with that. But
right.
for me, I don't, body count doesn't truly matter. But unless I ask about anything, don't tell me about it. Don't do it.
Right. Because men lie all the time. But I
No, no, no,
mean,
no, 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 not no. Sorry, not me. I don't like being lied to. It's literally the quickest way for me to cut you off. It's the
oh, for sure.
fastest
For
way.
sure. For sure. I mean, withholding information, not like lying all the time. But I feel like, if you're judging someone based on their like sexual experience, like that's a reflection of you and not the other person. Because we all have a history. Like we exist in the context of all in which we live and what came before us. You know what I mean? Like you can't expect someone to be completely like virginal. Like they had a life before they met you. So you'd be kind of naive to expect that they'd be completely pure, whatever that means. And I feel like that's the problem with purity culture. Like it really did a number on us. It made people feel guilty for wanting or liking sex. Like they made sex feel dirty, and sex isn't dirty. It's not supposed to be dirty. But it made people feel ashamed of their sexual history, their sexual past, the things that they've done, their bodies. And it's not right. I don't think it's right. But I say all of that to say, if somebody came up to me and was like, "Oh, that's your man," like he hooked up with 8 people, I'm like, "Guess who's gonna be number 9? Me." Like it's like I don't give a damn. I really don't give. Like as I said, it's about like the inside that matters. Like how is that person? Are they a good human being? Are they decent? Are they kind? Like I couldn't care less about how many people they fuck. But in that same conversation, like I want to talk about like obligation-based sex
Meaning,
because meaning you ever feel as if like you owe somebody sex? As in like
um,
if like for example, like and I'm not particularly proud to admit this, but I've had instances where like if somebody was nice to me, I felt like I had to reciprocate in some way. And it's just like if they did a kind deed, I felt like, oh, I need to return the favor and
or
the like I don't even know why. It's just something that I used to do. I'm
I
working on like
only. Hmm?
no, I said it's something I used to do. I'm working on it now. So it's not like something that I'm actively doing anymore. But
Honestly, it's something that I've only experienced once, and it was last year because
Mhm.
I wanted something for Christmas, and it was quite expensive. And like this dude like sent me money because I asked him. I was like, I want something nice for Christmas, and
Mhm.
he actually sent me the money. I was like, oh wow!
You
And that was the
should.
only time I would have been like, I'd actually have sex with you, but and he was a top, so and I wouldn't have mind bottoming for him at all,
Right?
just to like, and I know he wanted to top me as well, but he was very shy about it.
Mhm.
I
Like
could have, I would have done that for him, in all honesty, because I'm like, wow, you're actually very
nice.
nice to me,
Exactly, exactly. And that's exactly it. And it's not so much about transactional sex,
even
even
though
though
it sounds like it.
it does, but because honestly, some of us do use sex as like a currency. It is very common. And, you know, some people do believe in like tit for tat, where it's just like, okay, if you do this for me, then, you know, I'll return the favor sexually. Or, I'll pay for this if you sleep with me. And I'm not judging at all. But I don't think it's healthy to sleep with someone just because they took you to dinner or they were nice to you. But for some reason, like I would feel obligated to do it. And I don't know. It's not healthy, but I would feel like I owed them. And I feel like that's more common than people admit. But yeah, it's interesting the whole transactional sex thing because it's more than just sugar baby culture where it's just like, oh, you have a sugar daddy and like you're fucking like it's not necessarily that. Because subconsciously we do exchange sex for validation or gifts or attention all the time
I
without
don't
even
know.
realizing. Hmm?
I'm not sure. Well, for me it's very different. It's just like when I'm in the mood, I just do it, which is more often than not like 8 out of 10 times. Sometimes it's a 10, but I don't do it for like getting gifts, getting like
Hmm.
going out for dinner or anything like that. I
Hmm.
wish there was a case where like we went out and he bought me food and something, and like after all that, and we get back home, we end the night by having sex. But
Of course, that's the ideal. Of course, you have to prepare before because if you're eating, then you know your bowels are moving. So of
yeah,
course
but
we
like
expect
not
that to be.
even that though, because that's no, not even that, not even that, not even that.
It would be nice. That would be like the ideal day. But we don't want it to like, set a precedent or set the expectation that, oh, just because you took me out to dinner, that means that I am obligated to hook up with you. 'Cause
And the sad truth is, some people actually think like that. You ate my food, you didn't pay for the bill, and you don't think it's fair to have sex with me. And
exactly.
no, I've never been in a situation like that. But some people literally have their heads up their asses, and I don't know what what the fuck is wrong with these people because
Hmm.
you're not owed sex.
Exactly, exactly. But the culture that we live in, like it ingrained in us that, that's what you should do, which isn't right. And it's not okay, but that's just how it is. And it's so funny because I was thinking about it earlier. Like, I don't know, a part of me wonders if I even enjoy sex. Because sometimes I look back at my experiences and I'm just like, what? Like I can count on one hand the awesome experiences I've had where it's just like, wow, that was bomb.com. Like I had a great time. All the others are just like mediocre. They're like, meh. It's like
Yikes.
I could have done without them. And I don't know if it's that I don't enjoy sex because I don't think I'm asexual. I do get aroused sexually, and I am a sexual and sensual person. But just feel like the experiences I've been having up until this point haven't been like top tier, if that makes sense. Like,
It
it's,
does. I feel the same. At
mm,
one point, I was asexual because whenever I had sex with somebody, it it just didn't feel right. Like after I did it, sex is like supposed to make you like feel good. I think it releases that happy
endorphins,
hormone.
right?
Yeah. But for some reason, I always felt worse
Yeah,
after I,
exactly. After you come and it's just like, man, I could have done without that. I didn't need that. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just the quality of the sex that we've been having that leaves more to be desired. And that's I feel like the reason for that is because, like I said, there's like a lack of intimacy. It's a lack of like concern for the other person. Like some people just think say, oh, fucking the hole is enough. Where it's just like bam, 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 bam. That's not pleasure. That's not erotic. There's no like consideration for the other person.
it's just
Honestly,
lost at this point.
exactly. And something I realize is like when most of the time when we hook up with people, it's people that we don't even respect, let alone like. Like,
I don't know about that
no,
part.
it's true. It's true. Like, I'm
No,
sure
no,
there
no.
have
I
been,
mean, like personally.
yeah, that's fine. But I'm sure there have been cases where it's just like we hook up with somebody, and then after the fact, you're having like a conversation with them, and then you realize that your values don't align, or they're not like a nice person or they're not somebody that you'd even be friends with and you're just like, oh, this person is awful actually. And that contributes to you feeling bad about yourself or the experience. Like, have you ever had experiences like that where it's just like you met somebody and you're just like, this person sucks. I don't really want anything to do with them ever again. Like,
A lot of time. Well, not really a lot. It's actually rare.
mhm.
Because
Yeah.
for me, all right, so my partner doesn't like this.
Mhm.
And the thing is, when I was single or like was dating him, I always told him that I fucked most of my friends because for me, I'll have to get to know you before I fuck you. And
Right.
I'm not saying that I fucked all my friends, but like for a vast majority of the case, that's what it was because like we
Right.
started out as friends and then like we liked each other enough to have sex. So
Mhm.
I've never really been in a case where as I've done something with somebody and I didn't like it and I'm like, oh, never
Mhm.
again because I got the time to know them before I even
Right.
you know.
Right. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the whole like hooking up with friends thing because that's something I noticed happens a lot in gay culture where it's just like we tend to only be friends with people we find attractive or people we're attracted to because at some point we're hoping to hook up with them. Like I don't. this probably sounds fucked up, but it's like, do you have any ugly friends? You know what I mean? Like, look at
Screaming.
like we don't really keep in our circle people that we don't find attractive.
I
And
don't
yes, it
think I have any ugly friends actually.
exactly. And I feel like exactly. I don't think so either. And it's very shallow, it's very superficial. But we tend to, surround ourselves with people who are like conventionally attractive. And that's because there's like an innate lust under the surface, where it's just like you're attracted to the people that you want to be around and vice versa. So I find that like there's something very incestuous about gay relationships. Like it's very small. Like you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Everybody knows somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like if you hook up with me or a friend, it's possible that we know somebody else that you hooked up with. So it's like the circle is very small, and it's weird. It's very weird,
It's
but
always been small. I don't know, especially in Kingston.
especially in Kingston, and that does add to a lot of like drama, where it's just like
Yes.
if
I don't know.
you're,
I feel like
Mhm.
most of like the drama and all them fuckery happens in Kingston.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. Because
Hmm.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe that's why the place is so hot nowadays.
Oh, because we're so hellacious, like we're like
Yeah,
literally
all of the
burning up.
Batman, the Mandalize and the sins,
Catching up to us. God forbid
right?
there's like another earthquake like in Port Royal. Like, oh my
God
God,
forbid, and if it does, man will say the Batman them do it.
problematic. But I feel like a lot of us like just we don't really interrogate why we have sex. Like some of us do it to cope with sadness or low self-worth or like I said, seeking validation. And
Sure.
it's like I said, like alcohol and substance says do play a role in that as well. Because I have to be real, there were times, like I said, I was drinking before hookups, not because I was like excited, but because I needed like liquid courage to get through it. And like I was thinking to myself the other night, like, how many times have I been sober when I was like hooking up with somebody? You know what I mean? Like more often than not, I'm like under the influence or something, like mostly liquor, but there have been times where I like tried poppers or
I
something.
know, oops, I need to try it. Well, not need, but I would like to try some, I can get some.
I will have to talk to you off air.
Okay, cool. But the
Mhm.
thing for me is what you just said is like the opposite for me. I've never had sex under the influence,
Good. Keep it that
and
way.
I want to try though. First time for
No,
everything. Why not?
because honestly, I can't remember most of my and like
I don't. Well, wait,
I
wait, wait. What are you like? Do you remember? All right. So besides your hookups when you're under the influence, do you
mhm.
remember what it's like when you are under the influence? Like if you go a party or something.
Like I'm aware of what's going on, obviously. Like I have my faculties together because I'm not like a sloppy drunk or anything.
The
But
thing
it's just
is.
oh, go
Mm-hmm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, the thing is for me, I might remember because whenever I'm under the influence, I remember like 99.99% of everything
Mhm.
that transpired. Like you remember when we would it go to a junkyard, I believe?
Yes, I remember it. And
You remember me that night?
I do. I have to take care of you.
Yeah,
Which
I
I'm,
was absolutely wasted, and I
I
remember
know.
everything that night
Exactly.
because I don't know. People were saying like the shorts that I was in, my ass looked fat and my dick looked big, and like
Hmm.
people were brushing past me and like touching the material, and I'm like, oh my God,
I
I'm
know.
like,
It's
oh my
very
God.
like I remember this one gay party I went to one time where a guy, I think he probably got roofied or something because like he was like hammered and like nobody, like I remember he was like making a fool of himself really, just like sloppily falling over and everything, and nobody really paid attention to him. They were just like ignoring him, and I kind of felt bad. So maybe it's like the maternal instinct in me or just the Virgo in me, but I just felt like I had to take care of him all night. So I
Did
was
you?
like, yeah, of course. I kind of like watched over him, like I was near him the whole time because I didn't want anybody to take advantage of him because I do unfortunately see that it's possible and gay men are capable of that. Not just gay men, men in general. And so, when he needed to go to the bathroom, like to vomit, like I had to ask like a security to help me bring him there so he could like throw up and stuff like that. So yeah, eventually like I had to get in touch with like the host of the party and I was like, hello, can you help me like access his phone so I can call his parent to pick him up? And it
Oops.
yeah, we did. We were able to like, use his like Face ID to open his phone and we're able to like contact his parent. Thank God that, he had their contact saved.
Like
And
actual parents
yeah, his mom came to pick him up and she was so fucking mad. But
at
I
a
had
gay
to,
party?
yup, 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 yup. And I had to
Wait
like
a damn minute.
I know,
Wait a damn minute.
embarrassing, mortifying, but I'm
No, no,
sure
no,
like
that's not it. But like it's Jamaica.
I know that I'm listen, I don't know the relationship he had with his mom, but she was
Wait,
upset.
wait. Did he request that you call his mom?
No, he was like stone cold drunk, like drunk, 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 drunk. He wasn't coherent, he couldn't talk, he was slurring his words, he was just
Imagine
not
the conversation the next day. I picked you
I
up from a gay
it's
party, and
I
then now,
know. And it's
and like,
so I know. So his mom was pissed as hell when she showed up in like the taxi, and I was just trying to calm her down. I was like, "Hi, I'm Tico. I know this looks really bad, but I just wanted to say that please be kind to him. Like he's been through a lot. We took care of him, me and the host and the security guard, the three of us. So he was in good hands. But please just ensure that he sobers up. Get him some water. Things like that. And eventually, like she softened up because she saw that there were people there who were looking out for him. But I'm sure she was just glad that he was safe. And because the worst case scenario is like something could have happened to him. And I don't know what happened to him when he got home, obviously. But it's funny, like the next day, like I somehow got a call from him and he's like, hey, did you happen he thanked me of course and I was appreciative, but he was like, hey, did you happen to see like my ID? Because he lost his IDs and stuff. And I was like, no, sorry, let me get in touch with the host. And so we
wait, was
talked
it
to the
a
host
youngling or like,
our age, 20s, 20 something year. I don't know how
oh,
old exactly, but definitely in his 20s.
okay.
So eventually I called the host, explained the situation, and they said that they'd run the cameras to see what happened. But I mean, I'm not sure what happened to that situation. But yeah, it's just you'll be surprised how common it is for people to like be under the influence of something before they have sex. And so yeah, it's like we never really know what someone is like going through or why they're doing the things that they do. And that's why I think like it's important to have compassion and like we can't really judge someone's body count because when you're under the influence, like your inhibitions are lowered and you're not really thinking straight. So of course you're like prone and inclined to be more promiscuous. And people regret it. Some people don't, but that's why we can't judge. And like, I don't know. It also has a lot to do with like consent, of course, because that's why, people think that like if you're under the influence, that's like a free for all. Like, if someone is like drunk, then you can like hook up with them because they're more inclined to say yes. But it's a gray area. The
I
consent
don't
has to be
know.
like enthusiastic, like that's why I don't really like hooking up with people who are like under the influence. But it's ironic because I've hooked up while under the influence, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I've
But
never hooked up under the influence, and I don't think. No, I think that sexually, I'm hyper aware of my surroundings when I'm drunk. I'm more
good.
hyper aware of like sexual behaviors towards me
Right.
because I most places that I go to, I'm told that I'm hot because like I remember this one games night,
Hmm.
I was told, even though I was there and I have eyes, I was
Hmm.
told that most of everybody was looking out for me or looking at
Oh.
me. And I was like,
So you kind of felt
seriously?
like a sheep in a company of wolves who
I don't
want
know.
to
I was told I
carry
was a hot
over.
commodity, and I actually made a friend that night. And I asked him in a recent time if that was the case, and was like, "Oh yeah, most everybody was looking at you." And even though he had a partner, he admitted that he was trying to like fuck me for the night. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow."
Do you ever feel like people just see you as like a sex object? Because I've definitely
A
had
lot
that
of times, yes. You
too,
see,
for sure.
have you seen my body,
You are very attractive, Hugo. You are
girl?
attractive, but I feel objectified as well, and sometimes I feel like
No,
people
like sometimes it's hard to be honest.
it is at a certain point until you realize that people don't really respect you as a person. They only see you as like a means to an end or like a hole to put
Yeah.
things in, and that's not a nice feeling. Because like, yes, I'm sexy. Yes, I'm, good at what I do, but at the same time, it's like I'm so much more than that. I'm more than just a whole. Like I'm a brain and a heart and a soul too.
I'm
And
sure they'd find ways to fuck all of that.
so it's just unfortunate that, people sexualize other people and don't really take into full account, their humanity. But yeah, that's why it's important to like, respect the person that you're hooking up with. Have like some kind of connection with them for sure. Because it really makes the experience more enjoyable when you actually care about the person you're hooking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was under the influence of substances or alcohol, like I never considered it non-consensual, but I wasn't in my best headspace. And if you need to be intoxicated to be comfortable, like, is that really a situation you should be in? No. But I'm thinking about like those times where I was sober. And like, for example, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I'm thinking back to when I was like on campus, like when we were in college, and it would be like nighttime, and I wasn't ready to go home yet. So I was on campus, like cruising, like whether it was like checking Grindr, just like walking around, like remember chapel? Like sometimes I just go around like the chapel just to see who was around there. Or there's like the bathroom on like Humanities where it was notorious for like hooking up. Like sometimes I've been walking there and I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But it's just like there's this compulsion, like you can't stop yourself from doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
you know you shouldn't, but you're doing it anyway. And I don't know, like sometimes I look back on that time when I was like super promiscuous and I was just like, what were you going through? Like what was happening with you where you felt like you had to do these things? But I feel like people don't consider that like when people have like a really high sex drive, it can be due to a lot of factors. Like I said, validation that they're seeking. Or maybe it's just like unresolved trauma from their childhood, like they're still processing. Or,
I
they're
think it's more of the case of like experimenting to see
hmm,
what you like.
for sure.
Or again, just the thrill of it, because now you're older, you're more mature, you've been there and done that. You don't think it's quite as entertaining as it used to be. So
Right.
it's more unlikely change in interest, to be honest.
No, for sure. Like I remember when I first started college, of course, like I was, exploring myself and my sexuality because, during high school I didn't have any experience at all. So of course it was the novelty of it, which was exciting and the curiosity to try new things. But past a certain point, it's just like, all right, you're just doing things just to do it and not
Mm-hmm.
because you're learning anything new. And so yeah, like I said, like there are so many different like reasons. Of course, there's like the rebellion. Sometimes there's like attachment issues that you have. Or maybe you just enjoy sex and maybe you're just exploring your desires without shame. And some people, have a lot of sex as a form of like empowerment or, escapism or, it's just like a means to an end, like I said. They want to feel loved, they want to feel wanted, they want to feel in control. But I definitely wouldn't recommend anyone being under the influence of anything if they're hooking up. It's not safe.
Why?
Um,
What's not safe about it?
anyone could take advantage of you. And like
Wait,
like
wait, wait,
I
wait, wait. What context are we talking about?
just generally, like if you're at a party and you're like drunk or high and like, someone wants to hook up with you, it's probably not the best thing.
Oh, no. I don't mean it like that. When I said I wanted to like have drunk sex,
Mhm.
I'm with somebody, so obviously it's gonna be with
Of
somebody
course.
that I trust.
I mean, yeah, well, yes. I mean, if you're with like a partner or someone that you trust, then sure. But as long as it's like a safe space where like, you feel comfortable enough with this person, you have the insight that they won't take advantage of you, sure. But of course, ensure that there's enthusiastic consent because consent isn't just not saying no, it's actively wanting to say yes. And if you or the other person is hesitant or unsure or going along with it just to be nice, then that's not consent. But yeah, a lot of us use sex to cope with sadness or low self-worth or low self-esteem. But I'm curious, the one thing I want to know is like red flags, things to watch out for. What's a deal breaker for you before hooking up with someone?
Um, for me, I have to scope out the person first to see if like I vibe with them.
Mm-hmm.
I really do hate a needy bottom. I really hate a needy bottom.
You
It's the
hate
it's
me.
it's it's literally the quickest way for me to get like turned off
What do you
by
mean
you. But
needy? Define
like
needy.
you feel the need to like always be like in my skin texting me when we're gonna have sex again, when I'm gonna see you again. I really hate that. I
Um,
really hate that question, when I'm going to see you again. Like,
I
bitch, you
mean,
literally saw me the other day. What the fuck is like, I have other people in my life and I have other shit to do.
well, yes, but I mean, obviously they enjoy their company, and obviously the sex must have been good for them want to have around too. So it's like
Yeah, but it can
you
be low
don't
key annoying. You're literally running me off.
you don't feel flattered. It's more of like a nuisance to you.
Yeah.
Um, because I can admit there have definitely been times where it's just like I'm like texting someone like, "Hey, when will you be free?" You know what I mean? Just because I just enjoy their company that much.
Oh
But
no, it's the fastest way for my heart to sink in my ass.
I, and I'm glad you said that because for me, if I don't feel like the energy is reciprocated or I feel like I'm being desperate or like too much, that's when I'm gonna like retreat and take a step back and probably block you because I'm not going to beg for attention. Like if I feel like, I'm doing the most, then it's like, okay, like if you don't care about my presence, like how about my absence? Like I'm going to like, just delete your number and move on. So I love when the energy is reciprocated. If not, then it's definitely a deal breaker. I don't like when guys can't communicate their needs. Like they can't like if you ask them, for example, like what are they into, and they're just like, I don't know. Or they don't have like they're not capable of like expressing their interest or their desires to you, then that's not cool to me. Um,
Girl, I'm basically the same at this point. I don't know what the fuck I like.
you must have an idea. You must have an idea because we're all grown.
I don't have a hobby or
Mm,
anything. I used to draw. Now I do all
mm.
of this is just lay in bed and jerk off and bust couple nuts.
Well, I mean, good for you,
Good
but
for me.
there has to be more to life than that. Like
No, dear.
you have to have like a rich internal life, and that's what I appreciate with people. Like for me, like the best in bed that I've ever had intimate relationships were with people who are like well read or like very well rounded and like they had varied interests, varied hobbies, like multi-dimensional people. Like if it's just somebody that like isn't interesting, then it's very easy to lose interest in them, if that makes sense.
It does.
So you
But wait, I
should
have a question.
sure go
That
ahead.
actually sparks up a new topic for me, like interest.
Mm-hmm.
What about, let's say that you're dating somebody, you're seeing somebody, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like you realize that you guys have different interests and you like them as a person, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not willing to like open up to their in what they're interested in. Like,
Sexually
how
or
does that work?
general? Sexually or
Um,
sexual interest or just generally speaking?
let's say both of them. Well, no, more of generally.
Okay, I definitely had encounters like that where it's just like I don't feel compatible in that way. And for me, it's like I try to make things work, where it's just like I'll try to see what they're interested in and I'll make space and I'll hold space for them. But if, for example, like I'm putting in the effort to get into their shit and they're not doing the same for me, then that's when there's like a disconnect and then I'll just stop. But I'll try. I'll make the effort. I feel like it's the effort that's important. But if it's a case where it's just like something that they're into that's like very boring, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I can see why that would be like difficult to share or spend time with them with that thing. But no, I don't think there's ever been a time where like I've dated somebody and like I didn't give them the opportunity to share their interests with me. Because for example, I've dated gamers, like people who are like really into video games or board games, which I enjoy as well, but I'm not like super invested in it. But I had an ex who was like into Skyrim and like, just RPG games, and I'd like bond with them over that. Like I'd rather spend my time doing other things, but I enjoy quality time together. So I like slot time in my schedule to like, share with that. Or, I had an ex who was like into trains. So I remember for his birthday, I bought him like, no, it wasn't his birthday, it was for Christmas actually. I bought him like a train set that he could like build from scratch, which he thought was cool. Um, other ex was like into otters, the animal. So I got him like
Oh, I
a
thought it was
stuffed.
me.
Well, I mean, well, yes, that too. But I got him like a stuffed animal, which was a stuffed otter, which he appreciates, and like,
I bet he'd love to stuff an order.
diggity. And I got him like this card that said something like, "You are my significant otter," or shit like that. So yeah, I like to make time for the
Corey.
people that I like. So is that not something that you do? Like you don't try to make that effort?
Well, I personally try because well, I don't like, it's me, it's like ingrained into my system to
Mm,
reciprocate what people do for me. And
right.
half the time I try to have the initiative to do something so that,
Hmm.
we don't have the conversation saying that, oh, let's try something new, because I'm a very open-minded person,
Yeah.
really.
Right, and you should be. You should be. And I love when people are willing to try things. Like that is very sexy to me. Like somebody who's like, I've never done this before, but you like it, so let's see where let's give it a shot. Like that's very like encouraging for me. If there's no, concern or no desire to just do things together, then I'll kind of lose interest. And if somebody's not interested in my interest as well, because I think I'm an interesting person, I think that I have great taste. So if they're not into that, I kind of like lose interest in that as well. Like if you don't care about my pleasure, like going back to sex, like we have a problem. Like if you're just interested in like you getting your rocks off, but not about me, then it's like, what the hell, you
But
know?
sometimes bottom are the same, because if they come first, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I said that. Like I'm definitely like that. But it's like
I know.
I won't make it like too obvious. Like I'm not gonna make you feel like shit. Like as soon as I come and I'm just like, okay, get your clothes, pack your things, get the fuck out. But it's just like I would much rather like cuddle after that, or like, watch something like a movie or a show together, or just do something else. But in terms of like red flags, definitely like if somebody pressures you or ignores your boundaries or make you feel like you owe them something, definitely a red flag. Bad hygiene, I don't like somebody who doesn't take care of themselves. Like it's
I
a
don't
turn
think
off.
anybody likes anybody with like terrible hygiene at this point.
You'll be surprised actually. There are some people out there who have no shame.
Why would
No
I
shame.
want? No, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to be judgmental, even though I am judgmental, but I don't want it to be so obvious yet.
Right. But I don't know, it's like if somebody, for example, like doesn't shower before a hookup, that's a red flag for me. Because it's just like, where's the consideration for me? You know? If somebody doesn't brush their teeth, bad breath, like that's gross. It's just like just be a decent
Human
person.
being,
Yeah,
right?
like just be decent. Um, what else? Somebody who's like very controlling. I don't like to be controlled. I'm a bit of a power bottom. Like I tend to like love not telling people what to do, but I like to set the tone. So it's like if somebody
Mm,
tries to like control me too much, it's irritating. But I like to make concessions. Like let's sometimes do what you want to do, and let's do what I want to do sometimes. That's how relationships should work, like healthy. But in bed, for example, I don't necessarily like, being tied up. Like that stresses me out because, I don't like to be restrained. Um,
you see two man come in and then have them way with you.
exactly, because then I'll
No,
be
no,
concerned.
that actually happened to somebody that I know. Well,
Really?
I don't know what well, I don't remember. All I remember is he was tied up
Hmm.
and blindfolded,
Hmm.
and the person that he was meant to do it with apparently like went away and had somebody else do it, and then
No.
he eventually found out.
That's basically rape, to be honest, because you consented to hook up with one person, not somebody else. So that, because consent can be revoked. But yeah, it's like I've never trusted someone enough to like tie me up or like, put a blindfold around me. Because then my concern would be, okay, what if he removes the condom? Or
What if what?
what if he removes the condom and like, I'm tied up and I can't do anything about it, you know what I mean? Or what if
Hey,
like
people are actually like that. Oh my God, it's scary.
stealthing? Yeah, condom to bareback, it's definitely a thing.
Which is why I don't bottom because it's always. Then again, I don't think a bottom can remove
Of course. What do you mean? What
while the top is not aware.
do you mean? He'll probably be aware, definitely.
He
But there are
definitely will
definitely,
be.
yeah, there are bottoms who will, it feels good, so they're like, hey, stop, and they roll it off. Or
Ooh, I'm gonna.
maybe,
No,
or
honey, I'm
maybe
gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. If you take it off, we finished.
we're done. Sorry, I got to go get your purse and call a Uber. Like, sorry, that's it. But like it's scary because men are unhinged. Some of them will poke a hole in a condom, so you have to be on your guard for sure. And that's really why I recommend not being under the influence when you're hooking up. Thank God that has been on my side, or nobody has tried anything like that.
Right?
So you really should be on your like guard. Have your P's and Q's in order.
Well, I don't
Um,
have a problem if my man like fucks me raw or whatever. Cause in all honesty, I've been in the mood for a cream pie the other day.
Girl,
I
listen,
might as
this is,
well.
I tell my friends this all the time. Yes, it's good to, be in a monogamous relationship. Yes, it's great that you trust your partner, but you're not around each other 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what they're doing when they're not around. You don't know who they're talking to when they're not around. And it's not to be paranoid or anything. It's not to be
Girl, yeah, tell
insecure.
me that right now and me I get paranoid, but I understand what you say.
No, here because it's just like I can't begin to tell you how many people I've hooked up with who were in a relationship. And no, it's not something I'm proud of. Sometimes it is something I'm aware of after the fact, or they omit to like they fail to mention it, or sometimes there have been instances where like I'm fully aware and I like the person so much and I don't care. But I say that all to say, you really don't know what that person that you think is faithful, you think is loyal, you think is like, doing their due diligence. You don't know. So it's best to be on the safe side. It's best to not go raw because you don't know what they're doing on the side. So
True.
just
Can't.
protect yourself just to be on the safe side. You know what I mean?
You do have a point there.
Right. But it's nice to fantasize. Like, of course, it's nice to think of being bred raw. Sometimes it's nice to think of yourself as just a wholesaler. Sometimes it's just nice to not have to think about like real life or like implications. It's nice. That's why porn exists. You know what I mean? You can get lost in the fantasy of it all.
Oh my
But like we live in like a time where people are capable of anything, and
God. Very capable of anything.
exactly. So you have to be smart, but also just protect yourself
Mhm.
because if the person doesn't care about your well-being or your health sexually or physically or emotionally, at least you should care. At least you should, give a damn, give a fuck about who you fuck, so to speak. But final thoughts. I would just like to say for all of our listeners, you don't owe anyone sex. Not for attention, not for validation, not for favor. No is a full sentence. And the only reason you should be having sex is because you want to, not because you feel pressured, guilty, or obligated. You know, if there's anything we want you to take from this episode, it's that sex should be a safe, consensual, and pleasurable experience. And if it's not checking those boxes, it's okay to have, like, it's okay to take a step back and reevaluate what you're doing and why you're doing it. So many people have sex for a host of different reasons, as I mentioned, but it should be for the right reason, you know? Like, and think about what those right reasons are for you. So just remember, safe sex is sexy, consent is mandatory, And if you take nothing else from this episode, please stop using baby oil as lube. But before we go, Hugo, is there anything else that you'd like to share or anything that you don't think we've touched on in terms of the topic of sex?
Not really. I think that maybe it. Just be safe out there, guys, because
Mm-hmm.
there's some crazy people out there, and I think, yeah, just be careful out there. There's a lot of crazy people out there
There
that
are.
want to take advantage of you. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them want to use you. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them want to get used by you, and some of them want to abuse you.
I
Some
love
of
this
them want
song.
to be abused. It's actually a song.
I love that song, Sweet Dreams. I love it. But yeah, but yeah, like you said, like just make sure that you're having sex for the right reasons. And the right reasons for having sex are personal and unique to you, but it really depends
Yeah,
on like your individual
and
values. But
transactional.
right. But generally they should include mutual desire. They should include emotional connection, pleasure, of course, love, ideally, intimacy, exploration, and a healthy exploration of your sexuality. It should be safe, it should be consensual, and it should be free from pressure, guilt, or the need for validation. So just ensure that it's ticking those boxes before you take your clothes off or before you even consider doing anything sexual with anyone. But of course, I want to thank you again, Hugo, for taking the time out to be a guest today on the pod. You really brought a lot of vibes and energy to the conversation, and I look forward to having you back at some point. But yeah, thanks again for listening to 20 somethings, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Hey, it's Amy Brown from The Bobby Bone Show. Join me in supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for a chance to win a trip to meet Megan Maroney at the 2025 iHeart Country Festival in Austin, Texas on May 3rd, hosted by Bobby Bones. We're going to hook you up with tickets, flights, hotel, food credits, and a meet and greet with Megan Maroney. Take action now to support St. Jude and help cure childhood cancer, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win. Visit iHeartCountryTrip.com to learn more.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.